Welcome back. We're joined by artist Karla Pearce on the show today. It's great to have you back on the show, Karla.
My pleasure, as always.
This is one of my favorite segments we've been doing because you've been doing portraits of your kids, and Steph was filling in for me when you did the last one, but it's a really impressive way of taking a real photograph and blending in a lot of sort of that abstract style that you're so good at.
Absolutely, it's really fun. So we take the photo and I use an app just to play around with some of the colors so that I get a good idea of where I want to go to. And the app just changes the look of it. It almost creates a painting on itself, and then I use that as the sketch.
Okay.
And then we move forward. So like for this one, I'm gonna try to do some purples and some yellows. Her face, I think I'm going to keep it on the yellow side because she is a blonde. And yes, we've embraced the blonde.
And so this is the real picture here.
Yes, Anise, that is she's my oldest daughter.
She's beautiful, by the way. She's like an angel.
She is. She lives in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And she's an esthetician, so she paints nails and toenails and these things, very artistic.
So she knows this is happening, but she doesn't know it's happening today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will you take all three of these at the end and perhaps hang them somewhere in your house? What do you think?
I've got two of them up in the living room. And
You will?
Yeah.
Good.
And then this one, I think we'll put it in the living room as well. I'm sort of toying with the idea of doing a snapshot of my husband and myself too. Which might be kind of neat to have the whole family at one time period. You know, it's like we've captured that.
All right.
And it's a portrait is a little bit different than just a regular painting, you know, of a landscape or even a photograph, because it's infused with the artist, and it, you know, for myself, I like colors, so there's lots of colors, but any artist that does a portrait, it's a very special thing to have in your home, and it's got a lot of tradition backing it. You know?
Absolutely.
Tons and tons of tradition.
So you've gotten a little head start, not much though. The pressure is kind of on because of course Karla does this in an hour, which is pretty impressive.
I don't finish these. I can't. It takes too long.
That's true.
This particular style of painting takes way longer than the knives that you see me do a lot.
Yes.
I'm gonna get going here. Let's
so you're gonna get started anyways.
Yeah, so let's play with some of the colors. Now I've put in the background, which is the warm tones. That's where I wanna go with this particular painting. But we also wanna put in some violets too, I think. And so I'm just going to throw pop some other colors in here. And this is something I was thinking about to play with in her hair. And so when you put these colors in right away, it sort of sets a tone for some of the highlights and things that are going to happen in the painting. See, right away, that just changes the whole look of it, doesn't it? And then you can throw in some of these purple tones further back in here as well. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe some red in the background too, because it's actually a dance floor behind her, because she's in her 20s and that's what she does. She goes to clubs and raves and these sorts of, you know, whatever is happening in Vancouver.
Oh, the 20s, Karla. Oh, the 20s.
You know, I rode a motorcycle and had really short, bright red hair, like the color of your dress, which is, you know, crazy at that time.
Right.
And I hated the helmet because it always squished down my extremely long, spiky hair. That's what I was doing. She's way better than I was, I think.
I know, I hope my kids are too.
She's got it way more together.
I hear ya.
Yeah,
so backdrop first, and then you'll move in on the face a little bit later as you go.
As I go along.
Yeah.
And let's see, some of the hair, I think, she is blonde. So once we just start to pop some of these things in, you can kind of see she's really cute that way. Her hair is kind of a light brown naturally, but you know, we've embraced the blonde now. It's awesome.
We're going to let you keep painting on this. It looks absolutely gorgeous to the start. It's gonna, I know it's going to turn out beautifully. We're going to check in, of course, with Karla as we head through the hour, and as well, we'll have another segment with her at the end of the show. We'll also talk about some of the other fun things Karla's doing with her new website, and we have that on the screen as well. But we'll tell you about some of the other fun things that she's creating. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Stay with us. More clouds still pushing through the Kamloops area, the result of a cold front that's coming in from that direction. In fact, the northwest. It's expected to take most of today to push through, and then once we're through, is going to be a beautiful weekend ahead. We're going to check in quickly and just get a little sneak here at this gorgeous picture of Anise. And Anise is, I'd say, almost halfway done, but Karla might not agree. But we call this pop art portraiture. Did I get it right, Karla?
Yes, you got it right.
Good. Anyways, it's coming along. We're going to check in with Karla in a little bit. Welcome back. We have about 3.5 minutes left in the show. Karla Pearce finishing off her third portrait of her third child, Anise, and Karla looks fabulous right now.
Why,
really
thank you. I'm going to throw in some purple highlights right now, because we've got her face kind of blocked in. And again, this isn't a finished piece. It's just we've got the feel and her features and some of the colors in, and I'll work on it again later.
It's really impressive what you can do in an hour. I always say that. I know I sound like a broken record, but wouldn't you agree? Like, look at that picture. It's gorgeous. There's a bit of that pop art feel to it, but again, it's a definite likeness of your daughter. I mean, you can't deny that. Can we go back to the original picture? Do we have that downstairs still? I bet we do. We'll give it a second. But yeah, I guess this is one of those things you do as much as you can in an hour, and then you fix it up a little as you go.
As I go, yes. And not everything is, comes off great right away. I think, sometimes we give the impression that everything's so easy, and it's not. Sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it takes many hours to finish a good painting, and sometimes it comes together really fast. So portraiture does, as a general rule, take a bit longer, because you don't want to you want to capture a positive likeness.
Yes.
And anything that looks negative, you kind of change that and make it into a positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's the whole goal of it. Otherwise, you can just take a photo. So this is the idea, is to move the image along. So I've put some purple into her hair just to give it a little bit of crazy here, and then we can play around with some other colors in the background. They can be pretty much anything. I just wanted to capture some of that young energy, with some bright colors. In the original picture, she's standing with a girlfriend in a club, and it looks like they just got there. And there's all sorts of people in behind her, but I didn't think.
I don't want that to ruin anything. I'm sure it won't.
The paint actually levels out. Acrylic paint, here's an interesting thing. Acrylic paint will actually flatten out as it dries, so the lumps won't be so big as if you're using oil paint. Oil paint dries the way that you put it on, which is good and bad.
Yes.
So there's, each paint has different aspects to it that's kind of interesting. So that little lump that I cleared out would probably dry almost flat. It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Truly.
Yeah. But it takes a lot of time to get used to all of the different things that different paints do.
Yes.
Now, I've been painting watercolors lately, and that's a whole other ballgame.
Sure, of course.
I know nothing. I'm like, oh, this brand,
right.
and they're all a little different. Yeah, so it takes a long time.
We are out of time, and we wanted to talk quickly, but we are out of time. KarlaPearceGallery.com. You can go on there. You'll see the end result of this, but also beautiful jewelry that Karla does, as well as essential oils that she makes that she gives to me, and they're beautiful in the bath. But we're 30 seconds in, so I'm going to have to say goodbye. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.